And we're on. This is the Let's Talk Cheer podcast, and I'm your host, Jason Larkins, where we talk cheer, we talk life, and we talk whatever comes to mind. 5, 6, 7, 8, let's get started.
Turn it up, you tuning into Let's Talk Cheer with Jason Larkins. We're talking cheer, we're talking like you know we're always talking. So listen up, you boy, about to go all in. 5, 6, 7, 8, we're on, let's begin.
This is episode number 23. Not sure if there's going to be a 24, but thank you for joining. We have such a great episode for you guys. I'm so excited to get into it. You guys clicked on the links. You guys already know who the special guest is today. You've seen her on Netflix hit show Cheer. You've seen her on Ellen. You've seen her on Dancing with the Stars. You already know that she's the head coach of the 14-time NCAA national champions Navarro College. Today we have on the queen herself, Monica Aldama. But before we get started, be sure to like this wherever you may be, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Like it, share, subscribe, and let's get this thing going. We love you guys. And without further ado, here goes my conversation with Monica Aldama. All right, guys. A lady who truly needs no introduction. No matter what I say right now, it wouldn't do her justice. We have a very special guest on the show. Everyone, please welcome the Monica Aldama. Monica, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I think we've been talking about this for a little bit, and we finally made it happen.
Yeah, I know. I'm very glad. With that first date we had, I was like, well, I'm going to be on a plane. I'm like, can I do it on the plane? Like, I cannot miss this opportunity to make it happen. But, you know, I'm glad that we're on. And we're just going to have, I honestly can't wait. I know this is going to be this is not going to be all the shows that you've already done, like the typical, I'm guessing we're going to talk about the show a little bit. But, you know, we're going to talk because we've known each other for quite some time, about 15 years or so.
Yeah. No, it's got to be longer. Like, when were you at SFA?
My first year there was the 05-06 season.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
That'd be about
16.
Yeah.
years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, know each other the whole time. Yeah. It's crazy. I can't even believe it. And you guys would send up, for anyone who doesn't know, SFA, Stephen F. Austin is where I went to school. Monica, obviously, at Navarro. I'm probably going to go back and forth between both those pronunciations. Don't blast.
And both are correct. So say it however you want.
Yeah. So he said it like 5 different ways in that whole time. But you guys would send a bunch of kids up to us, and they would tell these Paul Bunyan stories about you. Like she came levitating into practice that day, and she was these great. So I got to ask you about what was true and what's not true. But anyway, I'm just glad that you're on. So you ready to get started for real?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So here is I'm going to set this question up just a little bit. One day I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I'm just scrolling through, and then I see Nelly on my timeline, and I go, I don't follow Nelly. Who was that? Who just posted Nelly? I scroll up, and it's you. So that's when I knew that you were big time. I was like, dude, she's hanging out with Nelly right now. So first, two-part question. When did this stardom really hit you? And then what's the story with Nelly?
Oh my gosh. Well, Nelly, I'll talk about Nelly first. He was on Dancing with the Stars. So obviously I spent about 3 months in LA. So I saw Nelly. I saw him every week. We didn't get to really interact, I think, like they had in seasons past because of the COVID protocols and stuff like that. But I'm a child of the 80s, 90s, so big Nelly fan, and I was, starstruck, probably had a little bit of a crush on him. And so, we got to be friends, of course, on Dancing with the Stars. He came to Texas and was playing at a bar in Waco, of all places.
Oh, shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went online. It sold out in like a few hours. So I went online and DM'd him, and I was like, hey, your concert sold out. So
shut up.
Are are you going to let me come or what? And he was like, oh yeah. So such a funny story though, because he had his road manager text me to give me details and stuff like that. And his road manager's name is Abby. Yep. So I'm thinking I'm talking to a girl.
Yeah.
You know? So we were texting back and forth for a few weeks about, you know, how many tickets do you need? And come to this gate and we'll be here and, you know, all this stuff. And so he said, he actually texted me the day before and said, hey, call me tomorrow around 5:00 and I'm going to give you some more details. And I was like, okay, perfect. Yeah. So I called and this deep voice answers.
Burly man,
like,
yeah.
He was like, may I speak to Abby, please? And he was like, yeah, this is him. And I was like, oh. So we talked for a minute and I get off the phone and I was like, interesting, Abby's a man. Yeah. You know, so I start Googling it. And the first story that I see is like, Nelly's tour manager, or road manager, Abby, arrested for, you know, threatening someone. And I was like, oh, my gosh, yeah. Little woman that I had in my head. Anyways, he was such a teddy bear, such a sweetheart. He came and got us and put us in, you know, we got in, it was a pretty small venue, but like they had it gated off where the band, they had an opening act where the band was. And he came and got us and we were back there with the band. Like that's where we watched the show, like on the side stage. And of course we went back and got to hang out with Nelly in the back room when he finally woke up and came off the tour bus. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Nelly is a sweetheart. He's just so sweet and so giving. He gave all of us gifts at Dancing with the Stars, like a bag full of stuff that his girlfriend, I guess she does like eyelashes and makeup, all these little goodies from her. And then like a $200 gift card to the spa. Really? And yes, he was such a sweetheart. I mean, and then he comes out all, you know, hard out on the stage, but he's really such a sweetheart.
That's so cool. That's so like, hey, I DM'd him. Like, I need tickets. Like, hey, it's a girl. That's so cool. That's what's happening. All right, dude. Okay. So we talk about, and then when did it really hit you that you were like, dude, like people know me, like I'm being recognized, like outside of the cheer world?
I mean, you know, the whole thing was just really wild the way it went down because, you know, we had no idea when we filmed this documentary that the whole world would watch it. Honestly, we thought I was hoping, I don't think the kids really knew anything. We're just filming, you know, they just came in and we just were doing our everyday thing, you know, but I was hoping that some people in the cheer community would watch it because I was very proud of the team and how hard we work. And I didn't really, you know, I wanted to make sure their athleticism was shown and, for sure, you know, because we know how hard we work, but people outside of the community really don't. They don't understand that grit, that determination, that resiliency that cheerleaders have. And, you know, I was like, oh, I hope that people in the cheer community watch it. I had, you know, but cheerleaders have a bad rap sometimes. They have a stereotype. So I didn't figure that many people outside of the cheer community would even have an interest in watching it. So we weren't prepared at all for what happened. And it's so funny because the very first week that it came out, well, first of all, as soon as it came out, things went kind of crazy. I couldn't, our Netflix PR team told me to take my email address off the website and come up with a different one for just people that are looking to, you know, communicate. And I was like, okay, yeah, right. We'll do that. Okay. I mean, it was like ding, 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 emails. Just, I couldn't keep up with them. I had to have people help. We still couldn't keep up with them. My Instagram just, you know, I couldn't even read the messages until they were just going away. And, I mean, I think the day after we had already had someone, we were at CTA practicing and someone was in the, lobby videoing us. And I was like, wait a minute, you know, what are you doing? It was somebody from Mexico that had like binged it and they came to find us. And, so things started getting a little bit weird kind of immediately. You know, we were having people come by we had to cover all the windows in the gym that we practice in because people were videoing us busloads stopping by. And it was just kind of weird. But, you know, within a week that it came out, we got booked to go on the Kid Craddock show, which is in Dallas. I've been a fan since I was in high school. I listened to Kid Craddock. And so at that moment, I was like, oh my God, we've made it. I'm on the Kid Craddock show. Yeah. We're going to go to Dallas. We're doing some local news. I'm so excited to meet people that, I admire and stuff. And that was a Tuesday. So we went out Tuesday and did that. And that Thursday, I got a phone call from our PR people that said Ellen wanted us to fly out. So it kind of went from 0 to 100 really fast.
Crazy.
And so at that moment, things went really kind of out of control for a minute. They wanted to bring the team. They wanted us to perform. We had one day because everybody was gone. I think it was Majors weekend. So people were in the Indy. So we had to, wait for everybody to get back. So we practiced that Monday. That Monday morning, choreographed everything, went through it a few times. We had a clinic already scheduled, so we had to do the clinic. And then we came back and practiced that night, did it full out a few times. And then our flight was early the next morning. So we did like a 6 a.m. practice to run just to get a couple more full outs in.
Yeah.
And then we went to LA. We had TMZ waiting on us at the airport.
Shut up.
So, yeah. And so that's when I was like, okay, this is strange. I mean, we had people at the airport. I mean, on our way, I think it was, on our way back. I mean, like I'm eating pizza and people are just coming up to, and it's funny because like the person next to you is like, should I be asking for a picture with you? And I was like, no, they have no idea who I am, but people that had just watched the show, they're coming up and, wanting a picture. So, I mean, it was pretty, immediate. It was very strange. And it, I mean, it's fun, it's exciting, but at the same time, you suddenly feel like your anonymity, your ability to just kind of, I mean, even here in Corsicana, I remember walking into Walmart, probably a month or so after, and there's people start filming me. And I'm like, I don't even feel like I can go. Yeah. I mean, that feels weird to me. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, let me get on Amazon and order my stuff.
Wearing low hats.
Yeah.
Hats, glasses in their mask.
I mean, I appreciate everything. It's just sometimes I'm a very private person, which is interesting. I know because I put myself out there, but that was kind of one of the battles. I'm a private person. I'm proud of our program. You can come in and film what we do. I just didn't realize, that it was going to be like it was.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, that's it. And it gives you, especially like you saying it gives you like a new respect for like celebrity, like these celebrities who just can't go anywhere,
Absolutely.
Denzel Washington, where someone who's just immediately recognized by everyone,
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And like you have to kind of, how it is. Like you see people go, oh, I saw that person and they were really rude. And it could just be that I had no idea they were looking at me or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I feel this pressure to be like making sure I'm not offending anyone or, giving off the wrong message or, it's just weird. It's a lot of pressure,
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll say this. We have a girl, I'm going to tell this story a little bit later, but we have a girl in our program named Cadence Valverde. And she said she DM'd you and then you messaged her back. She came to practice on cloud 9. She's like, Coach, she messaged me back. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool, Cadence. I'm glad that she did. She's a really nice lady. So it was cool. I'm glad she didn't come in and be like, yo, Coach, I messaged her like a month ago and I haven't,
Well, and there's so many that, like I said, I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's impossible to keep up. And I try to interact. And then sometimes you're just so overwhelmed with the workload that you don't even have time to get on there. And, it's, you're being just pulled in so many directions. Sure. It's just a lot.
Yeah. All right. So sounds like we watched the highlights, right? Whole world watched some of the highlights from the show and not even from the show, but like, we go from obscure college in Corsicana to a premier team at NCA, not necessarily like this, the Netflix thing yet, but, just a premier team at NCA, crowd favorite, to really the team at NCA. And then obviously everything that happened after that with Netflix. What have been, some of the highlights, but what have been like the hard, like low lights, not even just from the show or post show, but from the beginning, like some of those like hard moments for real?
From the beginning of coaching or from the beginning of when the show came out?
Just the whole journey. The
whole journey. Well, I mean, when I got here, we had 14 people on the team.
Mm-hmm.
We had never won a national championship. I had zero coaching experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was young. I was younger than some people on the team. I was 22. I was 22 years old. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I knew nothing about coaching. Back in the 80s, cheerleading was, as you probably know, way different than it is now. And not only way different than it is now, way different than it was, 10, 15, 20. I feel like every year it grows and develops. And of course, All-Star really changed the path of cheerleading in general, because it gave all of these young kids an opportunity to go into the gym at an early age and be coached by people that knew what they were doing and become these incredible athletes, Mm-hmm. And it wasn't really like that. We didn't have those kind of opportunities when I was in school. I think right when I was graduating high school is when I even heard of like an all-star gym. And at that time it was almost like, well, I didn't make high school cheer, so I'm going to go over here. But then it developed into this, industry that's incredible. So I could see over the years the talent of the athletes just going, up. And of course, just in the industry in general, I mean, the skills and what people could do, was growing as well. But I started off with 14 people, not knowing what I was doing, but I knew that I had work ethic, and I knew that I had drive, and I had motivation, and I knew I wanted to be the best. So whatever it took to be the best, that's what I was going to do. I was going to study. I was going to read books. I was going to do whatever to learn to be a good coach. And of course, learning to be a good coach comes with a lot of trial and error. You see what works, you see what doesn't. I'm still learning. I think every year is a learning experience. What could we have done better? And so, that's kind of how it started. And it was tough because, at that time, there weren't even as many guys involved in cheerleading as there are now. So usually every guy that tried out made the team for several years. I would go into the weight room. Somebody looks like they are strong. Hey, you interested? We'll teach you how to stunt, or maybe someone's, so I know one year we had a girl on the dance team. We roped her boyfriend in. He became, he actually went pretty far in the cheer world. We just going out and doing the best we can to get people and teach them what we could. That's how it started. And then it grew from there. The more success we had, obviously, the more recruiting opportunities we had. The all-star world opened up, I think, more talent, technology opened up more visibility. So I think just the way that the world has changed has made things easier on top of having success. I mean, we won our first national championship in 2000. So, obviously it's much easier to go, we won a national championship last year. You should come, but still, it took years and years for me to try to build respect. It wasn't one national championship. I can promise you that. It was year after year after year. And then you finally, varsity wants to interview you. Oh, okay. Well, I've been doing it for 10, 15 years, but thank you. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. So, I put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to where we are today. And I just feel like that I have a certain style that I like, and I've just kind of stuck with that. I've not let, people influence, or the criticism, because, we all get criticism. People will criticize you. You're too all-star, you're too this, you're too, but you know what? I like that. I like the way my team looks, and it's been successful, and I'm going to, keep doing it. So, lots of ups and downs over the years, lots of learning experiences, but, I would do it all again, because not only, is the program better, I'm a better person because of the people that have come through it.
Yeah.
They've taught me probably more than I've ever taught them. So.
Yeah. And I can't honestly, I can't even believe you guys are obviously, the junior college, right? And, it goes back and forth between you and Trinity Valley of who's, has the edge that year or whatever. But to go from like a good junior, you went from, they're good for a junior college, and it went from being a good for a junior college to no, that's like, kids are trying to debate if they want to go to junior college or like a university. Oh no, I got to go. Like, I made Navarro, I got to take my shot. Like, I can't not go to wherever, and it's crazy that I was in the group chat, not the group chat, Varsity had that thing for Daytona when they streamed it, right? And it says the chat beneath, and literally everyone in the chat just wants to know when you guys go on. That's only, I'd scroll, have they gone on yet? Are you sure? Did they hit? And, it's literally all day long. Does anyone know if they hit? Does anyone know what times they go on? And it was like the whole day, on both day 1 and day 2. So it's just crazy the how far, how big in the cheer world really you've been able to take the program, because I never really thought that a junior college could to do that in this world full of, Louisville.
Me either, because me either, because we don't have that big game day experience to recruit on. We don't have all those factors. We don't have the university town, the sororities, the fraternity. We don't have that to offer.
Yeah, we
have cheerleading.
Yeah,
and so the cheerleading has to be phenomenal. And so I would have never dreamt when I first started that we would be, I knew we'd be successful because I was going to fight for everything, to whatever I had to do to learn to do that, whether it was, go and sit and chat with mentors and just pick their brains, or bring in choreographers and, listen to their ideas. Of course our choreography has been very consistent with, so we kind of know each other, which is great. It makes it nice and easy. But, I knew I was willing to put the hours in. So I always felt like, well, with anything, I kind of have this weird, like, I can do it. I'm going to make it happen, just like Dancing with the Stars. Lord help us. That was hard, way harder than I ever thought. But, I have these sometimes maybe realistic, maybe unrealistic, thoughts of achievement that I can pull off. But like I said, I knew that I was 100% in. I was going to do whatever it took. And here we are, 2021.
And you just said this, maybe unrealistic, realistic goals. And I tell this to, I often tell it to our staff, not really the kids, but, we always say, hey guys, we need to set realistic goals. But the reality is winning the Olympics is not a realistic goal. Like you have to be able to say, I'm going to set an unrealistic goal, because winning NCAA, winning, the odds are not in your favor, so you got to be able to say, I'm going to set an unrealistic goal. I don't care if you guys think I'm crazy or not, because I think that we can do this, so. All right, let's get to some of these Paul Bunyan stories. So I heard once that the kids had gotten in trouble. Not sure what they did. It was years ago I heard this. But the kids had gotten in trouble. And you said, all right, guys, y'all want to fool around? You're coming to church with me, next Sunday morning. Is this a true story?
Yes, I did have the team come to church with me. I don't know if it was a punishment. I'm trying to think. It's a long time ago, but maybe it was more of an opportunity for growth. Let's look at it that way. College kids are hard to corral, and I feel like we need all the positivity we can. If it's a little bit of Jesus on Sundays, then the team did come to church with me one Sunday.
And I know I coach college. I coach at California Baptist University, right? I'm thinking I'm going to go in, my nice little Christian girls, right? And we had an all-girl team, right? I can't imagine the stuff you have to deal with, right? With co-ed. I don't
it's a lot. Yeah,
for sure. Tammy say, hey, Jason, should we go co-ed? I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, Tammy. You do not want to bring boys onto the team. You do not want that can of worms at all.
No.
You're doing the Lord's work for sure.
I agree. And I do pray a lot, let me tell you.
You have to. I prayed a lot with those kids. I'm like, Lord, please, these kids. Okay.
Yes.
So, what else did I hear? Kids, any specific punishment for kids missing class?
Yeah, I mean, the whole team has to run, and
let's go.
Yes, I mean, that was that years of kind of trying to figure that one out, and honestly, the whole team running is one of the best things that I have found, because what it does is used to, before that was a rule, when Johnny's roommate was still asleep and he knew he had class at 9:00 and he just left him there because he was, not the one that was going to be punished. Yeah. But suddenly when the whole team's running, they have a very big team effort of making sure everyone's in class. They'll start, a couple minutes before that class starts, they start texting each other, hey, where are you at? It shows, accountability for everyone. And also, this is what I try to tell them. If you do something wrong, I'm the one that gets called in to my athletic director's office. Not you, me. I'm the one that gets the chewing because of your poor decision. So you need to feel what it feels like to have be accountable for other people's actions, because I'm accountable for yours, and it kind of opens their eyes a little bit, oh, I'm not the only one affected by my actions. It does affect other people. It affects you as my coach. It affects my teammates, maybe the image that I'm portraying, because we all know that we could do 1 million wonderful things. And that one mess up is the one thing we're being judged on.
100%.
And so it just teaches them a little bit of accountability for the fact that your actions do affect more than just yourself. And that is for the rest of your life, so, just it helps me out with getting these kids to class. It's a little bit of a life lesson for the whole team. So it actually has worked well. It's not 100%, 100% proof of making it work, because there are, a couple of times I don't find out, but the teachers, it's a small college. So I have great relationships with the teachers. They'll text me, email me. We do grade sheets. I can say, oh, what is this absence? So it works, has a few little cracks in it, but it works pretty good.
It is a true story. When I was in junior college, our coach was stickler on being on time. You could not be late to practice, or if that person had to run, whatever. Right. And I remember there was 4 of us in our apartment. I was one of them that slept in. So it was me and the other roommate slept in. The other 2 went to practice without, we had 6 a.m. practice. And the other 2 go to practice without us. And, we wake up at, 6 o'clock, whatever time we wake up at. And we're, oh my gosh, they left us. So, we get there. Our coach not only made us run, the 2 offendees, he made my 2 roommates run too. He's like, no, you guys left them. Come on. You guys are running too. So let's go.
See, I mean, it works though. I'm telling you, they, most of the time, they don't want their teammates mad at them. So that gives them that extra push too. Like they don't want to be the reason that their teammates are punished. So
for sure. All right. So I have no idea. I heard this story as well. I'm going to see if you can verify it as well. Okay. So Taylor Sullivan, I heard that one year at Nationals, you're talking to someone and they didn't feel comfortable throwing like their full, maybe like a 2 to full or 1 to, like something, like one specific pass. They didn't feel comfortable, twisting. And you go, hey, don't worry about it. And it's not Taylor. You're talking to some random person. Don't worry about it. Just throw a tuck. We got the numbers. We'll be fine. Throw the tuck. And I hear that Taylor overheard that and just decided to throw all tucks the entire routine. Do you know any truth to that?
Taylor did throw all tucks the whole routine. Now, whether or not it was because he overheard me, I'm going to say obviously as a coach, we all know that hitting is very important. So yes, I would definitely tell someone well, first of all, I would hope that I would not have something in the routine that was questionable at that moment that we're in Daytona. So I'm going to say that he didn't overhear me say that. He did do all tucks. Now, the next year, I think, my memory's not that great. I think I made him do all tucks because we had won or something maybe that year. And I was like, well, maybe that, because we're very superstitious around here. I don't know. But I think Taylor's trying to take off a little bit of the pressure on the fact that he just didn't throw his tumbling.
Yeah. I said, every tuck, like no standing full, no wonderful. Like, I'm just going to go straight tucks, guys. Don't worry about me. We're good. That's funny. That's funny. All right. So I'm expecting a hard no on this next question. I'm expecting the hardest no ever. I'm not even offended. Can you please tell me what FIO FMU means?
Oh, Jason, now you know better. Of course I can't tell you that. And
I know. Here's my real question. Does your husband know what it means?
Yes, he does.
Monica, Ashley does not know what LCLM means. I'm married to the game. Won't tell her.
But you know what? Was Ashley right by your side your entire LCLM career?
You make a valid point. She was not.
Yeah, I mean the family has endured every hardship.
Yeah.
that I have endured. They have earned the right to know.
Yeah, very good stuff. I actually wonder, because there's some people who will say what their letters mean in a second. They don't care. They have zero cares. They're just going, here you go, whatever, no loyalties. And obviously I never told her, like when we were dating, and it really hasn't come up since then. And I was thinking about the other day, I was like, I wonder, surely people have told their significant others what it means by now, like people who like never told anyone in college. So maybe if she asks me one day, I guess I'll tell her now. But she still doesn't know. I have it tattooed, but it's not like hanging up in my office. Like it's not like you see it every day. Like in college, it was like every day people were asking you.
Yeah.
But it's not like people see it all the time. So
yeah.
All right.
You're going to tell your woman if she asks you now that you're married.
Yeah. Right. I'll tell you now. It's been 6 years or however long it's been now. Okay, Monica, I have been wanting to ask you this question for about 15 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Here's a real question.
Okay.
All right. She's nervous. Okay, I'm going to set it up. My first year at SFA, Trinity Valley came and practiced with us. This is the 05-06 season. Trinity Valley comes and practices with us during spring break. Very upset we never got a Navarro guest appearance. But they practiced with us at spring break, and I'm like, whoa, these guys are good. These guys are really good. They were better than I expected to be. And they go to nationals that year. They hit after day one, and they have the highest score of the competition, not just the division, but the competition. They hit on day two. There's the 06 season. I'm hoping you remember this season specifically. They hit day two. You guys hit. I didn't personally think it was y'all's best routine, but you guys were the victors that season. 15 years later, who was the best team that day? Monica, can you, I want to hear you say it.
Honestly, Jason, I don't even remember what routine that was.
Oh my gosh.
06, can you, golly.
Guy Burkett was on the team. He was point jump.
Oh my God. And he did a jump off count.
Yes, exactly. Now you hear it, people.
Yes.
And I think the two to fulls were off as well. I remember.
Okay, so I think the two to fulls were supposed to be a ripple. Something was supposed to be a ripple.
Okay, I think it was a ripple, but two kids went together. I think that's what it was.
Maybe because we had a few timing issues. Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what Trinity Valley's routine looked like, to be honest with you. Here's the thing.
Greatest routine I've ever seen in my life.
Honestly, I've been coaching for so many years that I can't even, like, everything kind of runs together.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm like, what year were you on the team? Because I remember, and then I'm not very, like, I don't really, and this might be surprising, but I don't really focus on Trinity Valley.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I focus on like I remember our mistakes, but I don't remember anything about their routine. Now, if I went back and saw it, I would go, oh yeah, I remember that routine.
I'll tell you, this may or may not jog your memory. It was the Still Confused shirts at camp the next year. Or not Still Confused, the Confused Us Too.
Oh, because they thought they should have won.
Yeah.
They did some tacky shirts for camp. Yes. Okay. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what I wish I could tell you that I remember that year. I do remember Guy Burkett being off count on his TOEFL. And if I went back and watched, I can't even remember what was in that routine. But honestly, I don't remember theirs at all.
Right.
I'm sorry. But that's
Andre
just, the good thing about not focusing on your competition is you have all of your energy to focus on your own team. And, I like to be good sports. I like to have a good relationship. And I think we had a little bit of there was a rocky time with some of the coaches that were, I don't remember who coached that year. Do you know?
Whoever was in Lucy might have still been there.
So I'm gonna stay positive.
It had to have been Lucy.
I'm just staying positive and saying that I like to have good relationships with the competition. So I don't like to go down that road of bitterness and stuff like that. And there were some rocky times with that coaching staff that I definitely felt like we were not able to have interaction like I am now, where I can just I can call Chris Franklin and we can discuss problems we're having. We can text each other. I get excited to see him. You know what I mean? Like I like that kind of relationship because at the end of the day, we're all working hard. We're all busting our tails to go out there and put out a great routine. We all have a ton of pressure on our shoulders. And so I like for the environment to be positive and uplifting.
Yeah, for sure.
And there were some rocky times. So honestly, I might not have even watched their routine, to be honest, because I just wanted to focus on me, myself, and I.
There we go.
I wish I could remember it. And I wish I could tell you that whatever your answer is, if they thought their routine was the best ever, but
I would say it was the best ever. But I just remember I really enjoyed that Trinity Valley routine. I thought that was a really good routine. And Andre and I used to argue about it all the time. Like, and we'd argue that's all I remember. Guy being off and the two to pulls. Like it's all because Andre and I used to go back and forth about it all the time. So I'm like. So it's like this thing. I was like, I gotta ask Monica. I should have asked you sooner than 15 years later. Because I know
you should have asked me that year because I would have had a much better perspective on it that year. So I'm gonna go look that up though when we get done. I'm gonna go look that up because I have no recollection. I do except for the Guy Burkett, our timing.
They were good. They were good that year. I don't remember their finals routine, but I remember they were good. I remember the look because I remember watching awards and looking over and seeing like some of their athletes like just stunned. And I was like, oh man. And I'm
going to text you after this. I'm going to look it up if I can find it. I'm going to text you my thoughts on it.
All right. Let me know. Okay. So speaking of tacky shirts at camp, just in case you guys missed that, Trinity Valley feels like they should have won that year. They come to camp the next year with, confused us too, right? Confused. We should have won nationals. Now, tacky shirts. I'm not saying this is tacky. I'm just saying it's a shirt. Was this a school sponsored shirt? Didn't you guys have a shirt that says our coach is hotter than yours?
Oh my God. The team, some of the kids on the team had a shirt made like that. And
they actually made, yeah.
Yeah, and I made them. I think I made them send them back to the printer. I mean, because I was like, oh, it had I
That
think
might
they've
have
done it
contributed to the
more-
rocky relationship.
No, I don't. The kids had a shirt made that I was like, oh my God. I can't remember. You know how sometimes who made the shirt? It wasn't a team shirt. It was like
It's probably
maybe
flop.
the rookies made a shirt or you know what I mean? Or the vet, I don't know. The vets made a shirt or something. And they definitely made that shirt. And I was like, well, y'all cannot wear that shirt.
Yeah.
That is, but yeah, they definitely had a shirt like that.
I'm telling you, we got to clear up all the rumors. I'm hearing all these things. I'm like, y'all got to ask Monica about all these things today.
Do you think that I would go and design a shirt that said our coach is hotter than yours?
Our coach is hotter than yours. Love, hey, y'all wearing it today. We're wearing it on day 2. I had heard about that. And this is when Brad was coaching us. You know, Brad's a little bigger of a guy, right? And we wanted to get a shirt that said, my coach is fatter than yours.
Oh my goodness.
So, you know, we're college kids. It's what we do.
Yeah, you college kids. Mm.
All right. So let's go to nationals this year. So we dealt with this a lot. You know, I was at CBU, or when I was at CBU, we won 4 in a row. Right. Mm-hmm. And year number 3 was like really hard. I remember that was like the hardest year. It was, you know, at that time, people just thought it was automatic that we were going to win. And, you know, I kind of felt like our work ethic, you know, we obviously weren't as hungry as we had been in the past, especially like the first one, second one. Right. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and I still deal with it today with teams that have success here at the gym. And I know that you deal with that, but how was that multiplied, like with the TV show, like this coming into this season? Like, did you have like did you feel like kids weren't working as hard as they could have been because of the success that, you know, this newfound, like new level fame?
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. I think if anything, we felt like we had more pressure on us to work hard. This year happened to be a really, really tough year for us. But if we take it back to last year after the show came out, we were getting ready for Daytona. I feel like maybe we worked even harder before the pandemic shut us down because I was so scared that all of the attention and all of the time that the interviews, the time, because, you know, we went to LA and then the next week, some of us went to New York. And I told them I'm no longer going to travel because we have to focus on our team. We have to focus on Daytona. So they were bringing all these people to us. And so, I mean, the hours that we were putting in was, when I say me, because I was doing multiple practices on top of so many interviews and stuff, and that they were bringing to here, either it was over the phone or through something like this, even though we weren't really Zooming much at that time. We still had, you know, stuff that I was doing like this. And then they physically brought people here. And then just the noise, just everything going on. It was a lot. And I was so worried that it would affect us that I made sure that we were working twice as hard. I mean, we had done 25 full outs before we left for spring break. You know what I mean? So we could have competed right then if we needed to. Wouldn't have been our bet. I mean, we had more work to do, but you know, we were working our tails off for sure. Never a second did anyone think, oh, we have this TV show, we don't have to work as hard. We worked harder. We were scared that it would be too much outside stuff going on that would affect us. So we tried to really put the blinders up and come in and work hard. So with that being said, that was our mentality. Now this year rolled around and we're in a pandemic. So we're already in a whole new set of circumstances. And then I had the opportunity to go to Dancing with the Stars, which was, you know, pulling at me because I have been a huge fan of Dancing with the Stars since season 1. We had a pyramid that we called the Dancing with the Stars pyramid many, many years ago. So the kids have known I've always been a fan. So all of our sports got moved to the spring. So it kind of seemed like if I'm ever going to have this opportunity again, this is really we don't have sports. So it's, we're not cheering it in. Our schedule is going to be a lot less crazy. So I did took the opportunity. Do I have regrets? I mean, yes, no, maybe, what I mean? Like yes and no. But the team looked great when I got back,
Yeah.
But the spring hit us really hard. We had 4 days of practice. We had to quarantine when the kids got back because of just protocol for the school. They traveled in. They wanted them to not practice right when they got here, so we didn't. Normally we would be practicing the week before school started, but we didn't. We let them get here and have a few days apart. The next week that started school was Martin Luther King holiday week. So we didn't have school that Monday. So we practiced 4 days. And then I got COVID and one of the kids on the team got COVID.
Yeah.
She actually exposed me because she was sick during practice, but she assured me that it was just a stomach thing because she ate too much. And so, but I did, we were wearing masks. I had my mask on. I was very good at wearing my mask because I wanted to make sure as the coach and the leader, I was being a good example. So,
for sure,
if I was in my office, I would have my mask off. But if you saw me walking around campus, I was following every rule. But I still got COVID from her. So because both of us had it, they quarantined our team for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we are used to practicing a lot. We're used to practicing before school starts. We do 2-a-days on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have 100 pyramid reps in before we even start choreo. You know what I mean? We have a system. Yeah. So we went into quarantine. Our morale was really low. We had choreography the week that we got out of quarantine. We had choreography. Didn't even have our pyramid finished. So we're really out of whack on how we normally do. So we came up and finished the last structure like that Sunday night. I was allowed to come out of quarantine. We did that. And Dalston came down that Monday.
Yep.
Well, we started our routine. We had an unusual snow day on that Thursday. So the school was closed. Dalston wasn't able to come back the next day because of the weather, the snow where he had gone home from. So we missed that day. That weekend is when that incredibly once in a lifetime crazy Texas storm happened. I don't know if you recall, but the entire state of Texas pretty much was shut down. We didn't have power at the college for 3 days.
Crazy.
We were up here. The college was closed all week. So not only had we had one day that we didn't have choreography the week we were supposed to have it, we were shut down the entire next week. Like the coaches were in the cafeteria cooking with headlamps for the dorm students because the staff couldn't even drive to campus to cook. And there was no electricity. We were just all trying to work together to get through the week to have the kids safe. We weren't even worried about how we're going to practice. We were just trying to make it through the storm.
Yeah.
I didn't have water at my house. We were struggling. So then we have that week and we get out of that and we finally get Dalston back and finish our routine. And we're just really out of sorts of what our normal. And I like structure. I like consistency.
Yep.
I was still struggling. I had never been so sick in my life with COVID. I didn't get out of bed for 7 days. I am still not, I still can't taste and smell 100%. It really hit me hard. So, and then we were just, we've been hit in the media quite a bit, from things. Yep. And so we were just really struggling, but it never affected our work ethic.
Yeah.
Every single battle, every single hurdle never affected our work ethic. And, so never have we were just trying to overcome the things thrown at us. We weren't worried about outside. You know what I mean? We were just trying to survive in the circumstances thrown at us. But I prayed a lot and I felt like God was just kind of carrying me through because the team looked amazing.
Yeah.
The team worked their tails off. We put in the work. We struggled a lot. Just like I said, overcoming all these things thrown at us. And I don't regret anything. Yes, we got second place, but I cannot look back and go, you know what? We didn't work hard enough, because we did. Yeah. We did everything we needed to prepare for that competition. And it's unfortunate that we had a mistake, that we didn't put our best foot forward, because I thought the routine was a beautiful routine.
Yeah.
And even with the small mistake that we had, I still thought they looked pretty dang amazing at finals. You know what I mean?
So what did they give you? Did you get a deduction, or they just like take technique off?
Oh, they took technique off, and they gave us a stunt fall deduction.
They gave you a stunt fall?
Absolutely did.
Yeah, I didn't even. So I remember I watched it, obviously, and I saw something happen. I was like, something happened that was off. I'm not sure what it was, but something was off over there. And then I never went back and like looked at score sheets. I was like, well, something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. I just know my eye looked, weird, right? Yeah. And I wasn't sure.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't even see it. They had no idea that there was a mistake, because it was during a dismount, a transition, but they counted it as a stunt fall. And we had our stunt scores went down, our technique scores went down, and we had a 0.75 deduction.
Crazy.
So we got dinged all over the place. And it was a lot. But I still can't have any regrets. Sometimes you question, and you will know this as a coach, like, it doesn't feel good when you don't agree with the score sheet, whether you get first place, second place, third, whatever. You just want to feel like you were rewarded where you should have been, and whatever happens. So obviously, there, things that I could go, oh, this, that, or whatnot. But at the end of the day, we didn't do our job.
Yeah.
And I have no regrets, because that team was so consistent and so prepared, and we worked our butts off. So, I was sad. I mean, it hurt. But I've closed it. I've had closure on it, moving forward and whatnot. And I don't feel like we didn't do our job at home, because we certainly did.
Well, I'll tell you, I saw the routine. I'm not sure if you guys performed on Easter, or if you just like posted it on Easter. But we did a little private show off, just like people at the school. And that routine was phenomenal. Again on Instagram. And I couldn't believe, I'm like, how can they get any better? Right? Like, the routine was so phenomenal. I couldn't believe. I'm like, what are they doing out there? Like, these guys are just so good. Like, it was a phenomenal routine. Like, honestly, it was so good.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Monica, for real, what's up with college cheerleading? Like, I think that you guys are thriving. I think the Valley looks great. Weber looks good. I don't know if I can say that about every division, and even the junior college division, even though you two are thriving. It's just the two of you guys, right? So, what's going on with college cheerleading?
It's so funny, because, after the show came out, people that are not in the cheer community or the cheer world, or have any knowledge of college, NCAA college nationals, they're like, y'all compete against one team. Y'all are nobody.
Yeah.
Why are you proud of that? You're going to get first or second. You know what I mean? All this hate. They don't understand. We still, like, even if you tell them, like, well, we had the highest score of the entire competition 5 years in a row. But they don't understand that. They don't understand that at all. And the thing about it is just as well as I do, that once they created the intermediate divisions, all of the divisions as we knew it back in our day, just your basic divisions based on what kind of school you were at, those started dwindling. And I can't blame a coach, because I would want to compete in a division that I could compete in, I would want to, and that was safe for me to compete in. If I didn't have the people that could throw these skills, I wouldn't want to just frantically try to push something on them that they weren't capable of doing yet. They didn't have the experience, or, so it makes sense that you have divisions for lower level skills. I think there's always that, question that people tend to kind of go back and forth about is, well, it's college though. Should you have different levels, or at college? That's really what All-Stars for and stuff like that. And I get that too, because what it has done, it has ruined our ability to compete against multiple teams, because, nobody wanted to compete against teams that are scoring some of the highest scores in the competition. And I get it. I wouldn't either,
Yeah, for sure.
I would want to go into a division that I could be successful in. But if you look at all the divisions, even this year, Division 2, like SFA, they took themselves out of the equation.
Yeah.
They went small co-ed, and I think all girl is intermediate. Is that right? I don't, maybe they go back and forth a little bit.
It's different. Someone's posted, hey, here's co-ed's performance. And usually when we say co-ed, it's large co-ed. And I'm like, I didn't even know we're small co-ed now. I didn't even know that. Okay.
The divisions have just kind of, they're really strange now. Like in Division 2, there were only 2 teams. Now we have another division with only 2 teams.
Yeah.
Division 2, it was Sam Houston and Weber. That was it.
Yeah.
So you look at the Division 1A teams. It's dwindled down to those top teams. So I definitely think it's because they added the intermediate and a lot of, and the game day. They added game day a few years ago. So with those additional divisions has come, the situation that we're in where we don't compete against anybody but Trinity Valley. Yet that I don't think anyone that has knowledge in cheerleading knows that you're still looking at some of the best of the best.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But regular people don't understand that. So so whereas my whole goal in doing a documentary was to give some respect to cheerleading, then there's those people that still like, you don't compete against anybody. I'm like, well, true-ish.
Yeah.
But come look at the level that we're competing at,
Yeah, for sure. And and it doesn't matter. They can throw Kilgore, and you don't have to confirm this. You're trying to keep good relationships with people, but you can throw Kilgore and TJC, and I don't know, Weatherford was good one year.
They were.
But you can throw those guys back in there, and it's still going to be 1-2 Navarro and Trinity Valley, right? But it's crazy to and even the divisions dwindling. I feel like the talent is what it not again, not you guys, not the Valley, not Weber. Sam Houston's good, but the talent really at the rest of these schools isn't what it used to be. And I don't want to be the old guy, like, get off my grass, but I remember going when I was in junior college, I bought a ticket to NCAA, or my parents bought me a ticket to NCAA, or a plane ticket to Daytona so I can watch. I remember I had my camcorder and I'm filming everything, and I'm just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And so I'm hoping, I don't know what cheer can do, because I think you're right with intermediate. Intermediate has given a lot of people because if I had a coach at a junior college today, I would not compete against you. I'm like, guys, it's going to take us a little bit of time. So y'all got to start tumbling. You see these boys? You see these girls? Yeah, this is crazy. So, but yeah, the opportunity not to compete against some of these upper echelon teams, so I don't know how we fix that. So
yeah, I don't know how you do either, because I do think that when you do have to compete against those teams, you do push yourself at a whole different level. You know, I mean, we don't work our butts off because Trinity Valley's not good. You know what I mean? I mean, we work our butts off because we respect them enough to know that that's what we have to do.
Yeah. Great. I wrote a blog a couple years ago. I never actually posted it. It's in the archive somewhere, but I wrote a blog about how it's the greatest rivalry in cheerleading, Navarro Trinity Valley. I wrote this. So it's like, it's my phone somewhere, but I remember just like, it's honest. It's the big question. Like, everyone wants to know, because both teams have such talented athletes, all those talented athletes go out to all these other places. and then they end up being in other prominent positions in the industry. So everyone is like tied in and wants to know who won, like who won this year. Like that's what everyone like. Hey, who won this year? And it's like the biggest question, like at nationals, the Valley or Navarro or whatever. So crazy. All right. What's your favorite show besides Cheer on Netflix, or just in general? What's your favorite show right now?
Oh my goodness. I don't really watch a lot of TV just because my schedule is usually crazy. So in a normal year, I'm going to say, let's just forget about the pandemic, because I did watch stuff. I watched some things when I had COVID too, because I literally couldn't get out of bed. I was so weak. But in a normal year, I don't really watch a lot of TV because, we have in the fall, volleyball, soccer, basketball, football, and it's constant, and then my kids are now adults, but back in the day, if I wasn't at a Navarro event, I was watching my own kids. And so if I didn't DVR it and where I could watch it later, it wasn't happening. I didn't watch it. So my DVR shows that I watch, I love reality shows, American Idol and The Voice, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. Yes, I watch that. That trash. I watch it. But that's, those are really the only American Idol and The Voice. Those are the two consistent, because I actually haven't even watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette in about a year just because my schedule. But those are the two shows I would say I've most consistently watched. On Netflix, what is that show called? Where the guy kills people. What is that show? It has 2 seasons. We're all waiting for season 3 to come out. What is that show? Dadgummit. It's you know what I'm talking about? Surely you've seen it. Like the biggest talk. That show. I'll watch that again whenever it comes out. But I just don't watch a lot of consistent TV because I just am always going at practice.
Yeah. You got things to do. You could be watching TV.
I got things to do.
For sure. So. All right. Yeah. What needs to start, stop, and change in the industry?
Oh my goodness. Well, here's the thing. I stay in my college bubble quite a bit. So I don't really get out involved in the all-star industry too much, but I know there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of people unhappy. So I don't even know the details enough because I'm not involved in it to know what should stop, change, start, in that big picture of things. Because I think the industry, a big part of the industry is all-star, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, college has its own little nook right over here. And that's the lane I stay in. So that's the lane I know. That's the lane I stay in. I don't like drama. I don't like to be involved in this part of it. But, I think in the industry in general, we need to keep it cost effective to where people can continue to be in it because it is expensive. Yeah. And, I'm at a junior college, so I see these kids come in that don't have a lot sometimes, so the fact that they're even here to me is a miracle. And I'm grateful for those gyms that have given scholarships to some of these people that have allowed them to come up in cheerleading and not have to pay too much. But I don't even know how you do that because the economy is crazy, it just costs a lot of money. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about the controversial things as far as the business part of it, but I think education to the kids and I think they are starting to do that. I just renewed my USA cheer back. The last time I did it was ACA. So there was a lot more courses that I had to sit through and watch, which I think some of the athletes also, do too. So I think that's great that the more we can educate the kids to get rid of some of the problems with the sexual abuse and just abusive situations in general, because obviously we want to protect the kids that are in the industry and whatnot. So I do think we're in the right direction to to continue to improve, to continue to learn, to continue to educate. And that's for me too, because I've learned a lot with my own situation. And that's the big goal of ours is educate, educate, educate. Because honestly, that's all I personally as a college coach can do. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not coaching in the all-star world where there's minors and stuff, but I am coaching these young adults that do interact with minors. So I can provide education, and we are working on that actually right now on, things that we want to implement here to educate young college kids on a whole bunch of different things just to do a better job here personally. So start, stop, and keep. Is that what you said?
Start, stop, and change. But it can be whatever. Okay. It can be whatever you want. Yeah.
Start. So I think definitely start educating more, but we are doing it. So continue. I'll use the word continue educating more. And the unfortunate thing is that sometimes we only learn about the things we need to do when bad things happen. Yeah. And so because of the situations I've personally been in, my main goal is to really try to educate as much as I can. And I think the cheer industry is doing that too. Mm-hmm. Maybe not fast enough for what some people want, but at least the conversations are on the table. And some of like I said, I've seen changes in, the content of because sometimes the kids don't. And now I'm going back all-star, really industry, not college. But from what I can tell, like sometimes younger kids don't know what they are seeing as right and wrong unless they're educated on it too. We as adults should know better, but obviously we don't, because there are people, in the industry that are, that don't need to be. But I think educating the kids too, to have their eyes and ears open, and to feel comfortable enough to speak up if something's going on, there's 1,000 other things, industry score sheets. There's things we can do better, there's things we can do better. So, but like I said, it's just like me with coaching. Every year I learn. I've come a long way since I was 22 years old. Do I think that I'm where I need to stop learning? Absolutely not. Life, you're always going to be learning. The industry is always going to be changing. You have to keep up. We need to do better as people and as a society. And we learn, even look at it right now, technology. Who would have thought 15 years ago that I would need to be worried about things called social media? That just wasn't in the picture. So I didn't go through a college course that taught me how to coach kids on social media. I didn't do that. I'm learning by trial and error. So, and I think the industry in general, we are learning as we go. Things are popping up and we're like, how are we going to address this? And unfortunately, technology, it surpasses our experience and our knowledge way faster than we can keep up. Don't you think? Don't you agree?
No, 100%. I had a podcast, I had Dan Cotton on a few podcasts ago, whoever it was, but we were talking about this exact thing. He owns a gym and he's a police officer, and he really specializes in this, right? And so we talked about different ways that parents can help protect their athletes from social media and their phones and all those things. And, it's the same exact thing that he's talking about, that there's new things happening every single day that we can't keep up with. So here's what we know today, but who knows what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow, and the kids are getting smarter than their parents as far as technology and hiding things, so it's just a crazy world that we live in with all of, as good as technology is, it definitely has its downside.
Absolutely. Right? And I don't even know, like I'm old school. So, kids they'll say something will happen and I'm like, what does that mean? And then they laugh at me because I don't know. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that means. And so they have to educate me, which is not always good, but so I've never been on I've never been on an app where I was looking for a significant other because I've been married for so long. So I don't even know the ins and outs of how that, so I have to bring in people that can educate them besides myself, because I don't have the knowledge to do that. So we are looking for resources on education. And, unfortunately, a lot of the people in the industry are my age, your age. We didn't grow up in this world. So we have to find ways to fix it.
100%.
To do better.
100%. All right, Monica, there's only a few more questions here. Only a couple more. What myth, rumor, or narrative do you want to debunk right now? I know we've debunked a lot of them or cleared up a lot, but what rumor, myth, or narrative do you want to debunk right now?
Oh my gosh, that's a broad question. That's a broad question. There's so many. I mean, like I said, you hear things about yourself and I'm like, what? I mean, I think, I could really touch on so many things, but I've been really, since the show came out, I've taken a lot of hits in the news and articles and you name it. I've taken a beating, and I think the thing is, I've put my entire life into this program. I do everything I possibly can to help these kids. My heart is in the right place, whether I say a wrong thing or do a wrong thing. My number one goal is to help these kids become successful adults, successful careers, just like I said, learning accountability and just things that can teach them to be better people, better adults, better employees, anything that's going to help them in life. And, a lot of people watch the show that don't know me, that don't know cheer or anything. And, yes, of course there's editing. And, the fact of the matter is, yes, I have a resting bitch face. Yes, I do. You know what I mean? So I'm very serious. Like I'm just a serious person most of the time. Yeah, I can, cut up with them some and whatnot. And that's all fun and games. But for the most part, I'm serious. I'm always thinking. I'm very business minded and I'm focused. But, I also tell the kids, like, this is my thinking face. Don't be scared of it. Come up and talk to me about anything. I have an open door policy. So I think people can like interpret who you are just based on 6 hours of a show. And, I've got articles saying that I was crazy, that I was mentally abusing these kids, that I picked out kids. This is the crazy, like that I picked out kids that came from bad home life so that I could mold them into what I wanted them to be. And I'm like, no, I'm looking for a 2 to full. You just happen to have a rough life and I want to help you out. You know what I mean? Like what? It was just some of these crazy stories. And then, when the Jerry Harris thing came out, like people making up like that I for somehow had some kind of responsibility in this or allowed it or, just, they have no idea the heartbreak, it's just, you're a target at all times and you're not allowed to have feelings. You're not allowed to hurt. You're not allowed to, it's very different when you're in the public, eye and people judge you on everything. I have had to have very thick skin and I've gotten to where I just don't even read a lot of stuff because I'm like, why? Because I want to keep my mind positive and I want to keep my mental health good. And it's not good for your mental health to read things about yourself that are absolutely 100% not true, So, I think I just said a lot. Sorry.
No, you, the reason why I do the podcast is for therapy for me. Cause I like to, it's mostly just me talking and I just get to say whatever's on my mind at the time. So I'm glad that you got to, get some things, feel free, talk all day. People are listening. They want to know, like, dude, this is great. But no, it's you know, I've had my hard times, and I remember, let me say this. I do a quote of the week at the end of every podcast. Here's my quote of the week, and I'll do the quote of the week. And it's usually a quote that something has happened to me, and I just think of this quote, and then I, kind of elaborate on that story on the podcast, right? So if you don't mind, real quick, we're gonna do the quote of the week, but we'll tie in, you'll see. So this week's quote of the week is, give people their flowers while they can still smell them. And just to explain to everyone,
I love that.
Home, we usually wait. We have all these opportunities to give people their flowers, and then we wait until it's too late for them to smell
their funeral.
Them, right? Bring their funeral, right?
Yeah.
And Monica, I have to give you your flowers right now. You have been, you are class personified. You are wisdom and elegance wrapped into one. We've known each other for 15 years, and, go from an athlete, and then I start to coach, and then I'm in trouble at Sam Houston. And you were like, not that you were there for that, but you like saw that, talked to me about it, and I remember that time, especially at that moment, like I felt like the world was caving in on me, like I just felt like I had no one in my corner. So one, thank you for, being one of the people I felt was in my corner. Right. And then helped me kind of, when I was at CBU, like I remember calling you and being like, Monica, what do I do about these kids? Like, what do we do with this? And I'm like, Jason, you got to put your business hat on, Jason. You need to let them know. Like, all right, business hat, here it comes. And, right, you were just there for me like that whole time. But, back to like what you're saying, like I can only imagine, right, like everything that you had to go through with just, because for all the success that we see that you have, there's the equal amount of haters who,
Absolutely.
and people just nitpick everything that you do. And you can't do anything right now. Like, oh, well, she should have did this. I donated whatever to this. Well, $100, it should have been $500, right? And just everything. But you honestly have always been a role model. You've always been just, I gotta tell this, you made me look like the coolest coach in the world. It was right after the show, the show's buzzing, everyone's watching and everything, and kids come into practice. And it's that same kid, Caden Valverde I talked about earlier, comes into practice. He's like, Jason, have you seen Netflix, or have you seen Cheer or whatever? Blah, blah. I'm like, Cheer, come on. Me and Monica go way back. We go way back. I can call her right now. Like, you won't call her. There's a group. You won't call her right now. It's like, I'll call. Look at it. There's her number right here. I'll call her. Like, Coach, you won't call her. The bet. So I pick up the phone, I just call, and I look over at the clock at 7:30 Cali time. I'm like, it's 9:30 in Texas, right? I was like, guys, she's not gonna pick up. It's 9:30 in Texas. She's not picking up. And you pick up, and I'm like, yo, Monica, what's up? You made me look like the coolest coach.
Oh my gosh, you're so
in the entire world. Yeah, they were like, Coach, call Monica at practice, and they're so happy. Now I'm the coolest podcaster in the world because you're on the show right now.
Oh my goodness.
No, you are. And I'm going to keep going. You get more flowers.
Oh my gosh.
More flowers. This is, true. You may or may not remember this, but you posted, you'd like just won your 8th national championship. And you have that photo of you with the fit, right? All 8 rings on. And I remember like I leave a comment and I'm like, one day, like that's going to be me one day. And I think I didn't have the patience to wait until number 8. But I waited till like number 6, and I do the same picture, and I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to be Monica up in here. Like, this is like, I told you I'm going to be Monica one day. Now I got to get a Netflix show. You have set the bar really high for me, but you've just been great. You're awesome. And, I can't thank you enough for being, again, a leader, an inspiration to hundreds, thousands, maybe even 1 million at this point. And, you're honestly just the best. So, shake those haters off, stay focused,
Thank you.
Do you.
No, thank you. It feels good to hear that, because like I said, you can get really beat up in this day and age of social media where people are, on a keyboard just saying whatever. And so I'm pretty good about keeping my mental health good. So I do not read a lot of that, but it is good to hear the good stuff because I know there's, I do read the bad stuff sometimes and I'm like, oh, people don't know me. They don't know me. So it feels good to hear from someone that does know me.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're the best. You can't even question that. All right.
Thank you. 2
more. What's up? What's this app about? What app do we have going on?
Okay, so we teamed up with an app developer. It's going to be the John Madden of cheerleading. That's the goal. Been working on it really hard for the past year. Our app team has worked so hard in developing it. I mean, we actually had, those motion capture suits. We put some of the kids in them to do the tumbling, the stunting and jumps. And I mean, we still have a long way to go, but it's very cool. We just added have you even seen it at all? So you even know what I'm talking about?
I've seen, I haven't downloaded, but I've seen cheerleaders on a mat. Yeah. Yeah.
So you basically can, there's multiple things to it, but the competition part is you can choreograph a routine and then you can compete it. Like if you choreographed a routine and I did, we can compete it against each other.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we just added like I said, there are some limitations right now because we don't have all the skills in there. We don't have basket tosses. It's just a little bit trickier to get to that point. But we are going to go 3D in a couple of months. And so it's going to open up a whole new level of formations and stuff that we can do with the app. But we just added where your team doesn't always hit. So now that's got a built-in formula based on certain things your stunt could fall, your tumbling could bust, which to me, I've been waiting for that. Cause to me, that's when you're watching. That's how we watch a routine.
For sure.
So we have a lot of we're about to do we just kind of do a soft launch. That's really all we've done so far to get feedback and to, make sure it was working correctly. They've been working really hard to tweak the things that we have, wanted them to tweak. And then, like I said, we're about to go 3D and then hopefully add a whole bunch of more choreography options into the app. But yeah, it gets better and better every day. So I'm excited to see where it's going to go. It should be a lot of fun for, kids to be able to, even, if you don't have a cheer background at all, now you can, feel like you're participating in cheerleading.
Yeah. All right. What's the name of the app?
Cheer Official. Cheer
Official. All right. Yep. And so it's not available yet?
No, it is. It's available in the App Store. It's available on for Apple and Android. So we released Android not long ago. And then, like I said, now we're just about to take off and hit that. It's in 2.5D right now, but we're about to, put it in 3D. And then we've got some avatars coming out that of some of the cheer names in the world and stuff that you can get and have on your team. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
There we go. That's super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last question, Monica. So we have Cheer Official app that's available on the App Store right now. They can go get it. And where can people, follow you, follow the cheer program at? I know everyone already knows, but won't tell them anyway.
Yeah. So obviously we have Instagram. We have Twitter. We haven't really been on that much because Twitter
world's crazy. I don't have a Twitter anymore. Yeah, I'm not on.
Yeah, it's a little bit negative. So just trying to debate how we want to, interact on that platform. But obviously I have Monica Aldama, Instagram or Navarro_college_cheer. That's our cheer Instagram. So we're about to get back serious on our cheer. Our cheer Instagrams had a little falling off just because of like I said, we were just really trying to survive this semester with all the pandemic hurdles we were going through and the weather and everything. So, we're about to get back to posting everything and getting our life figured out again to get back to normal and getting our clinics back on schedule. When is this podcast going to air?
Probably. Let me check the actual date. Here, let's see. The date will probably be on the 13th of July 13th.
Okay. So we just hired a new assistant coach and I didn't want to say his name if it was going to cause I haven't actually made this announcement yet, but,
Dustin, the official.
This is it. I'm telling you right now, Dustin Velasquez is going to be our new assistant coach.
Oh, shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. So he and Shannon are moving to Corsicana.
Yep. Crazy.
Yep. So he cheered here. He and Shannon both cheered here back in 2014, 15, and went on to Morehead State, cheered there, graduated from there. And Dustin was on Team USA. So we're really excited to have his knowledge and talent here.
There we go. Maybe one of these days you'll hire your boy. I'll come out there.
Well, you gotta reach out. Come on.
Yeah, now. I know. Move Corsicana. Let's go. How far are we from Dallas?
Not far.
All right. Monica, thank you so much for joining us. You're the best, and you're truly welcome back anytime.
Yeah, I would love to come back. And I have been a fan of yours since I met you. You know, I love you so much. So thank you for having me. And I hope to see you in person soon.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. We be in, I know you'll be in Daytona. We'll be in Dallas for All-Star Nationals.
Possibly, yeah. Could be there.
You might be judging. Yeah, who knows? You might be doing the...
I don't know. I did that years ago.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
Yeah, you didn't know. Point your toes, kids. Good stuff. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll make it out to Daytona this year. We'll see.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
It's been real.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, another huge shout out to Monica. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I had such a good time. I hope that you guys at home had a great time listening. So shout out to you guys for sticking all the way through to the end. And if you did, definitely don't forget to smash that like button. Definitely subscribe to this channel so you do not miss an episode of Let's Talk Cheer. And real quick, want to give a shout out to everyone giving us 5-star ratings and reviews on the podcast. So we're going to read another one out this week. Here we go. This one is from HJD012381. That kind of sounds like it's a birthday, right? What was that? January 23rd, 1981. All right. So awesome, knowledgeable. I have enjoyed listening to this podcast. This is the first one I have ever listened to all the way through. Getting to hear a coach/director's thoughts on things, in addition to a parent's thoughts, has been so nice. My daughter is beginning her 3rd season of All-Star Cheer. I, however, was a sister of a cheerleader for 12 years, so it's not new to me, just a new role as a parent. Keep up the great podcast. We definitely will. And if you want to hear your review read out loud, go ahead and leave one, and we might be shouting yours out next week. Love you guys. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're out.